Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome or welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555. For your message or messages, come in. Come on. I've got intel. Recon is afoot. May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Namaste, bestie. Are you fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely? Let's dive right in and unpack. We're going to lead with the dice today. Hey, pressure, fist bump. We can always do with a bit of pressure. Why? Because we are Big Cat. And we need to talk about a few things before we go to the dice, darling dears. The ones you bent over backwards for, darling dears. You put yourself into the Kama Sutra, darling dears. The ones you bent over backwards for would drink the water if you was on fire. How many times did you pour from an empty cup just to prove you weren't the villain? How many times, darling dears? They weaponized your kindness, then blamed you for bleeding. Imagine that. Imagine that. Angelic alchemist mother. Big care, wave, long time no see. I thought I'd pop up on you, darling dears. Yeah. See what's going on in the hemisphere. But like I was saying, they weaponized your kindness, darling dears. Then blamed you for bleeding. Spirit says, do not, I repeat, do not reach back. Are you kidding me, blood? Not even to save them from their own fire. Why? Because they drank the same, said, Bernicia Mango, fist bump, glad to see you, darling dear. Some people only loved you as long as you were what? Burnable, darling dears, burnable. Now that you've become untouchable, they're thirsty in your absence. Never you underestimate the power of law 16 of the 48 laws of power, darling dears. When respect is not being served, you minus the big cat, darling dears. You minus the big cat. You are no longer available. And your value will increase. Why? Because they remembered how you used to bend over backwards, doing a full-on Kama Sutra. Good golly and the gosh. Now I'm sweating, guys. Hold on a minute. Let me get my mini fan. Just a second, darling dears. You have to remember, at my time of life, you need one of these, blood. Otherwise, you'll lose it. You go out in public and you ain't got this. People better give you your answers quick and snappy like that. Otherwise, you will lose it. Anyhow, like I was saying, darling dears, this isn't your rebirth. You was always the gold. Never you forget that, darling dears. And they couldn't afford the wait. Okay. Let's get to the dice, darling dears. To the dice. Who's that? I just saw a message. Hold on. You got the same fan. We're twinsies, darling dears. Great minds think alike, darling dears. Came from what? The Amazon. That online Aladdin's cave. And it came quick. do so enjoy your company, but because of me writing my second book and plus certain things that was going on in my life, I had to stop making as many videos. But I'm back now, darling dears. And you're going to be tired of me. No, you'll never be tired of me. Why? Because we're besties. And we got it like that. Pinkies up. Let's go with the dice. See what energies are around you at this moment in time. Hello, you. Good golly and the gosh. We've got the energy of the 4, darling dears. All right. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. The energy of the 4, darling dears, according to the Loshu grid, it represents your prosperity, your wealth, and your self-worth, darling. I told you, they was playing in your face, darling dears. Wanted you to bend over and bust it wide so they can run amok in your palace, your peace. Good golly and the gosh. The energy of the 4 is the element of wood, darling dears. And it also speaks about late spring. So something happened in your life during the ending of spring this year, darling dears. This isn't last year. This is this year. Okay? Something significant. Remember, I told you that. Your power colors over the next few days will be purple, green, and gold. Okay? But we're going to unpack the dice. First of all, we have the energy of the 1, darling dears. It tells me that you have a major decision to make. Do not, I repeat, do not make this decision until after the next new moon. The next new moon, I've told you many times and I will tell you again, go to astroseek.com. It's free. Download the moon cycles so you'll be aware of when the next moon is. And as I keep putting out the videos for the new moon and the full moon, I'm about to do the Capricorn full moon, darling dears. Pay attention to the house it falls in for you and your sign, and always read your rising sign first, because this is you. This is your character, okay? Your sun sign could represent father energy, your career, your status, your money and all of that. But your moon sign, if you don't pay attention to your moon sign, it will ruin you. So when you watch the videos for the full and new moon, right? Make sure you watch the rising sign, the sun sign, and then your moon sign. Okay? Okay. Let's press on, darling dears. The energy of the 3 is what somebody's feeling, what conflicted at this moment in time. There's a lot of arguments and fighting in the background. Why? Because you decided to stop bending over. You're not doing the Kama Sutra in 2025 no more. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of arguments and there's a lot of discord around you at this moment in time, darling dears. Why? Because people see that your direction in life, your path is changing. And with that change, certain things have to be cut away, whether you like it or not, darling dears. Let's press on. Let's press on. So the energy of the 1 and the 3 speaks about what success, darling dears. It could be a business trip. It could be within your studies. It could also represent a partner coming in, and it does not have to be a partner as in romance, darling dears. This could be a business partner, this could be a friendship partner, but you have that energy coming towards you at this moment in time, darling dears. If we go to the 48 laws of power, the energy of the 4 is what? Say less, shut up, pack it in, tell no one nothing, don't even tell me. Unless you want a chart done, then you're gonna have to tell me something to get the questions out, or I will give you the answers, darling dears. You don't even have to ask me questions. And I'm the baddest out there when it comes to the charts. Remember, I told you that. So say less, darling dears. Talk less, observe more. Because they're going to be acting up, darling dears. Why? Because they've lost that power keg. You, the power grid, darling dears. Never you forget or downplay your worth, darling dears. You are priceless. I've told you many times. You're Proverbs 31:10. More precious than diamonds and gold. You are uniquely you. And the gifts that you came to this Malkuth with, you're meant to what? Live amongst them, darling dears. Not be what? Bending over backwards for people that wouldn't even what? Piss on you. Or drink the water if you was on fire. Remember, I told you that. Right? Let's press on. Let's press on. The energy of the 4, according to tarot, is what? the Emperor energy, darling dears, Mars and Aries energy. So you are in a leadership position at this moment in time. It also speaks about, as I said, a fresh start is coming to you. Why are you getting this fresh start? Because of what happened to you during the early spring. Okay? Whatever happened around that time. Springtime is from February, March, April. Yeah. What happened around that time, darling dears? Think back. And if you keep a journal, you've already got it written down. But pay attention, darling dears. Somebody did something so significant that it changed your course. Hey, Alexis, make your wave. I didn't know whether to fist bump you or wave. I'm so glad to see you, darling dear. Let's press on. Let's press on, darling dears. As I was saying before I interrupted myself. So let's see what's on the inside. On the inside, we've got the energy of a 9. And we know what 9s mean, darling dears. 9 means completion. It's over. Finished. Whatever they tried to do to you, darling dears, they can't do it again. Why? Because your ancestral team have ensured that you are having a smooth path and you are having a change in direction. The path that you planned out for yourself, darling dears, where you was being kicked in your teeth, getting it without the Vaseline, right? Bending yourself into the Kama Sutra, it's over. Over. And let's dive a little deeper into the energy of the 9. When you get to the 9, darling dears, this is a fated ending that you've actually experienced, darling dears. But it also speaks that you've been on a 9, you are in manifestation mode at this moment in time. But you have to what? Get your mind right. Stop thinking about what was. Why? That is hopium, darling dears. And you will have these people still hanging around like a tampon string. Do you want that? Intrusive? Let's carry on, darling dears. Let's carry on. And never you forget, Proverbs 12:24. I'm a hustler, baby. You are a hustler. But you are a hustler at life, darling dears. Not for the wicked, for yourself. Put yourself first. I was in a situation on the 13th of June where I had to put myself first. As you can see, this is my blood pressure machine. I told you I had a stroke. I had to monitor my hypertension. I nearly had a stroke on the 13th and again on the 18th by people that contacted me, darling dears. They'll never get that chance again. I have to walk with my blood pressure machine. Take a leaf out of my book and put yourself first in every situation, even before your progeny, darling dears. Because if the mama or the papa is not right, how can your progeny be right? But I'm not telling you off, darling dears. I'll wind it, but I'll take it down a notch, but not much. Let's go back again before we press on, darling dears, to the 48 laws of power. Okay, it's the energy of the 4. So as I said, you must say less. And remember, law number 10, avoid the unlucky and the unhappy. And they will be unlucky. Why? Because of the choices they made against you, darling dears. What was that? Bernice, you know I'm good. I'm good. I was going for a very difficult period, and what I had to focus on was continue with my generation of the chrono code. The chrono code is what you need, darling dears. It maps out all of your chart. It shows you where all of the karmic turns are, everything, darling dears. And it's an easy read and it's easily understandable. This is what you need. This is what you need. But like I said, you have free will. Anyhow, let's carry on, darling dears. Law number 10, avoid the unlucky and the unhappy. Law number 17, learn to be unpredictable, darling dears. Let no one be able to match your steps or know where your next move is going to be. Law number 27, create a following. If you haven't got a YouTube channel or a TikTok or whatever, go online and start. You won't know what your skills or what you have to give, right, is unless you start. Your message won't be for everyone. But even if one person understands what you're putting out there and it enables them to change their path and their trajectory, you're winning, blood. Remember I told you that. Let me see, law number 27, law number 43, right? Influence hearts and minds. And again, it's about a platform, getting some kind of platform, darling dears. You could be doing anything on that platform. I saw this lady, right, when I was starting my YouTube journey. And this lady was I think she was in her 70s. She had no teeth. And she was walking around with her bag on her, you know, really high up underneath her breastline. And there was thousands of people watching her. Why? Because they enjoyed her story and the struggle she's been through. You don't know whom your message will help. Do it, darling dears. Do it. Anyhow. All right, let's press on. And the most important, law number 48, continue to be formless. Law number 29, do the Wendy Williams. Change at any moment, darling dears, but plan all the way to the end. Law number 48 is to remain adaptable to any situation. Because if they go left, you don't go with them, darling dears. You let them stay on the left and you stay on the right. Remember, I told you that. All right. Do we need to break it down anymore? The energy of the 4. It also tells me that you are the builder, darling dears. At this moment in time, you are a strategist, darling dears. Why? Let's go to the life paths. You could be a life path 4 or a 22, darling dears. It's also ruled by the what? North node. So anything you do now, darling dears, you will see the culmination of your works because you are now planning your future, darling dears. And in some cases, just like myself, it's a future involving one person. Remember, I told you that. What happened to me over that time, I could have lost my life and nobody cared. No one cared. So you protect yourself, darling dears. Your mental health, your physical health, your everything. Okay? Okay. Let's press on. Let's press on, darling dears. The energy of the 4 also tells me that you will be assuming some kind of leadership position, whether it's in your job, your school, your community, whatever, darling dears. You are about to be the leader, never the follower, darling dears. Never the follower, right? I nearly spit on that. I nearly did that. I thought, where am I going to spit? I have to clean that shit. No! But yeah, poor. Yeah, I did that metaphorically, not really, darling dears, because who wants to clean up their own spit? No one. All right, let's press on. Let's press on. We're gonna go with we're gonna use the African Goddess Rising. Do I have the book? Just a second, darling dears, because when you do it live, you can't just stop the video and find what you're looking for. And if it's hiding from me, so be it, moat, because I'm not going to search too deep for it. Look at me, I've got the OCD, my eyes are on everything, right? I found it. I knew if I stared hard enough, I'd find it. And look, I picked up this by mistake, and I was looking for this, which was already on the. I picked this up, so there's something in here for you, darling dears. Let's go through this first of all. The true crime. What is the crime? Are they getting the time for the crime? These questions we have to ask ourselves, darling dears. But you don't pay attention to what's going on with they, them, and Pay attention to you. Pay attention to your health. If you want to start that new health journey, do it. Don't wait. Everything is in your natal chart that will tell you. And you can get it down to the timing of when you're supposed to start these new beginnings, darling dears. I told you, when it comes to the charts, I'm the baddest one out there. Remember, I told you that, right? This could be a water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. This is where they had you locked up. They won't let you out. Yes, they had you locked up in their metaphorical prison, darling dears. Just like R. Kelly. And P. Diddy. Right, a wooded area, and it's a reminder that you can't see the trees because of the woods, darling dears. Yeah, something to do with a wood. It could be to do with what happened in early spring, darling dears. But divine is what? Saying you will travel. You will travel physically, emotionally, and this is a new beginning, a new direction for you, darling dears. We love that as well. Should we stand this on another thing? Why? This is the season of dismemberment. And remember, Some of those people that have been going through something, this is where their body is going to be found, darling dears. Listen, don't downplay anything I say, because everything is from spirit. I don't just make these things up, darling dears. The dismemberment could also represent you disconnecting from the situation, darling dears. Whatever the situation or circumstance once was, it is no more. Hey, it better not be. Well, if it is, what are you doing, darling dears? Put yourself first. What the hell is this? Sorry, I'm trying to turn it around so you can see. Let me put it down so you'll be able to see the cards. Base of the deck, darling dears, because it's time for you to party, darling dears. It's time for you to have a release, some kind of a new beginning, which you truly deserve, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. All right. Let's go to the African goddess rising. That's a lot of cards, blood. That's a lot of cards, blood. It's still a lot of cards, blood. All right. We'll take the ones that fell out. In the upright, why? The partying and the pleasure, darling dears. And it's on the energy of an 11, and 11 is the illuminator, darling dears. It tells me that you are highly intuitive, and you must pay attention to your intuitions, that quiet voice, darling dears. It's about to save you, especially if you've been in a season where you've been taking alcohol. You could have been smoking the Bob Marley, whatever, darling dears. This is a season for you to what? Be clear. Why? So that you can get all of the messages from your subconscious spirit, darling dears. Why? Because you are in celestial alignment. You cut off what needed to be cut off. We've got 11 and 41 on the tableau. And the final card is what? Liberation, darling dears. I cannot make this up. The 3 and the 7 goes to a 10. 10 is the number of what? Completion, darling dears. A karmic cycle ending, right? And it's for your what? Transformation. Remember, I told you that. Right. Let's get back. We're going to go with spill the tea. Tell us some more. Give it a good shufti. When somebody has to leave your life, I don't care who it is. If they are not for your betterment, if they are not paying attention to your rules, your regulations, right? They're not giving you respect. They've got to go, darling dears. I don't care who it is. They've got to go, right? And we don't care about their unspoken desires. And it also speaks about the desires that you want, darling dears, right? Unexpressed inner desires, often hidden, needs and emotions. You had to hide everything, darling dears. You was not putting yourself first. Base of the deck, darling dears. Why? Because it was family ties. I mean, yeah. Family that was trying to keep you down, darling dears, keep you in that soft, sweet spot where they could take advantage of you at every turn. Remember, I told you that. All what? Skin folk ain't kin folk, darling dears, right? Let's press on. Let's press on. We're going to get to the cards. Let me use a deck I haven't used in a very long time. My right palm is itching. Whenever my right palm, which is my receiving side, for some it's the left, but for mine, money is coming to us, darling dears, and we love the money. Why? It gives us choice. There's many people out there saying, I don't want any money. I don't want that kind of money. I just want to be comfortable. Well, guess what? Guess what? You're comfortable now, blood. Where you are in this situation, you're comfortable. Yes, you can pay. You don't want to be in a position where you can just pay your bills. You want to be in a position where you can make the choice of where you want to live, what you want to do with your life. And you have to remember, we are carrying the what? The energy of the 4. When you see the energy of the 4, darling dears, it means that you have to put the work in, but you will get the rewards from the work. Remember, I told you that. Right, let's get a deck that I haven't used in a while. All of them are saying, pick me. You go the way. Okay. I'm trying to stretch as far as my footsies will. Let me stretch a little further. Got it. Base of the deck, darling. Didn't I tell you to rest? Relax. Yeah, because you've been through something, darling dears. Sword energy could represent surgery, darling dears. It could also represent surgical procedures. It could represent pills, medication, darling dears. It could represent my blood pressure machine. Remember, I told you that. All right, lean in, bestie. Lean in. It tells me that you have to what? Retreat. Why? Because you need to rest, you need to relax, because you've been exhausted. Whatever circumstance or situation you've been dealing with, you've been very exhausted. Okay. Let's move this up. You'd never believe how big this table is, but I've got so many things on this table. I've got everything on here. My music, my printer, my tablet. I've got everything on here. But anyway, let's press on, darling dears. The first question that I want to ask, I was about to ask it. I couldn't even get it out, darling dears. The death card, end that shit. Why? Because it's for your rebirth. This is Scorpio energy, darling dears. The 8th house. The 8th house of regeneration, darling dears, as well as shared finances. Could be finances that are being paid to you. It could also be finances of a partner. Okay? Somebody's also going to be getting some kind of money. The money could be from alimony. It could be from child support. It could be redress from compensation. Whatever it is, darling dears, it's in the upright. This is on its way. Listen, when you cut off what needs to be cut off, and it's not going to be easy, darling dears, divine will what? Guide you, and you will get all of the resources made available to you. Remember, I told you that. Whenever we see the death card, as I said, it's Scorpio energy, it's water energy. This is about the rebel. You had to become the rebel in your situation, darling dears. You had to what? Let go. And that's not an easy thing to do, and I'm not downgrading that in any way at all. I have to, hold on, I've got to put this. Hold a minute, let me see if I can get it on the MacBook so I can see your questions. I told you everything's on my bloody table. In a minute, I'm going to climb on the table. And who's going to check me, boo? Fist bump. Let me see if I can see this on my MacBook. Just a second. So I can see your comments. Yes, it's there now. Right. I can see you now, clearly. Yes, Mel, you were saying exactly. You said stay strong. We got this. You got this, darling dears. But you have to what? Put yourself first. Right. So they fumbled you, darling dears, the healer. Oh, God, they did. I'm not lying. I'm telling you as it is. They fumbled you, darling dears. Now they're choking in that smoke. Let's see. The kindness they killed. Let's give it a good shufti. Let's see. The compassion you gave them, what they took for weakness. What did they take for weakness? Right? Fell off the back end. The devil was present, darling. Good golly. And look, major arcana. Whenever we see major arcana, darling dears, divine as a hand in your life. Remember, I told you that. You was dealing with people that were on addictions, people that were codependent, darling dears, people that was relying on what? Your skrilla. Yeah, your money, the folding stuff, darling dears. But this is people that are extremely disrespectful. 2 major arcana. There was a hand on your life. There is a hand on your life. Never you forget that, darling dears. Yeah. Everything that you offer to the table, darling dears, they saw it as a weakness, and they utilized that, whether it was in a love relationship, children, family, friends, whomever, they, them, and are. Right? Skullduggerous, darling dears, skullduggerous. This is why I keep telling you, think like a gangster and move like a nun. Fist bump. Now tell me something more. What else was they taking advantage of? Right? They took advantage of what the Empress or Emperor, darling, did. The big cat, the healer, the one who had full-on direction, the one who is spiritually protected and guided, darling, dears. They did until they couldn't, right? Seven of Swords, darling, dears. They would love to come back into the situation to fuck you over and give it to you without the Vaseline again, darling, dears. These simpletons, these dull-eyed ones. Good golly and the gosh, darling, dears. Pay attention to your work, wherever it is, whether you are in studying, darling dears, making new businesses. The Pentacles also represent online, darling dears. And I can't stress this enough. Go online. Some of you are thinking, well, what could I do? If you're a cook, you cook that shit. If you're a baker, you better get patty cake up in this bitch. Whatever it is, do it. If you're good at maths, do it online. Because why? The universe is bending in your favor. Why? Because you gave up something that you thought you could never, ever be without. So what did they take without asking? Let's go again. What did they actually take? Because we already saw them taking the piss. No, they weren't taking the piss. They took a shit, right? And as I said, there's no one to check me, boo. And that's what I said. And I said what I said in my Nene Leaks voice. Right? Hey, they took advantage of the tradition. How you did things, darling dears. They shitted on it. They didn't care. This is also Hierophant, second house, darling dears. They took advantage of your money, your time. The second house is also your self-worth. Yeah. The second house could also represent somebody working in a government position. You may have worked in a government position, darling dears. But it's definitely something that's happening right now. In the upright, this is the past. This is going on right now, darling dears. They took advantage of your everything. Major arcana came out on your behalf. Only God could have changed it. This is why you had to end the situation. And guess what? Sputnik hasn't forgotten you. They are watching. But again, this is a reminder that you have world travel on your cards, darling dears. You released that burden. And what? It was justice, darling dears. You got good justice in the upright. Never you second guess the decision that you made to save your own life. Some of you may think, but it may not have been it was life-threatening. If somebody is bleeding your energy grid dry, darling dears, taking, just like Mr. Take That, who's in prison at this moment in time, darling dears. What do you think's going to happen? You was pouring from a cup that was empty, but divine is gifting you the opportunity, right, to live amongst your unspoken desires. The things that you could not say and do. Why? You was chained to situations that were beneath you. Remember, I told you that. Yeah, this is good justice. They deserve that shit, darling dears. Remember, we like to speak Latin sometimes. It's what? Vini, vidi, and vici. You came, you saw, and you effed off. Well, that's not the last word. The last word is conquered, but it's the same thing, darling dears. Because in any one of these circumstances and situations, you have to get your mind right. Sometimes it may take for you to what? Write these things down. What was done? You need to see it in black. You need to understand these things, darling dears. And once you've written it down, you've got all of that poison out. You burn it at the next full moon. Take the time today to write these things down. It could be pages, and write them down and then burn it in the name of the Most High. We have a new moon coming up soon. The new moon in Capricorn, darling dears, on the 10th. Take the time to write these things down and set yourself on what? The path of rebirth and new beginnings, darling dears. Transformation mode. These people gave you pisanthropia, where you trust no one. Come through Boosie Badass, Posh, Clap. You had to toe tag them. Yeah, straight drop and zip lock. Come through Young Jeezy, fist bump. You was there doing what? Swirling through that traffic of Zemblanity, darling dears. It's bullshit. Oh my days. Good golly and the gosh. Let's press on, darling dears. Let's press on. They took the piss, darling. It's divine. If God tell you to put it down, who are you? Who are you to go and take it back on? All right, let's turn it around. If you go and take back up whatever it is that you had to put down, what's going to happen? If you go and take it back up right now, right, just when you freed yourself, darling dears, everything is going to go wrong. We just had this in the upright, darling. This is in the reverse. Your health is going to decline. You'll be dressing like Quasimodo in them streets, darling dears, barking at past cars with a reverse friar tuck as they took what? One more round, Julie, with your hairline and your life. Remember, I told you that. Oi. I'm not, well, far be it from me, right, to tell you what to decide. But me personally, I'm not going to give you I'm not going to tell you, but number 2. Yeah, far be it from me. Go with the second option, darling dears. This is what's going to happen. This is you being displaced from your home, darling dears. It also speaks about you having no what? Energy in your home, darling dears. For you to be taking it. We're back at it again, darling. Take that. For real. So what is no longer available to them? Because this is a lovely spread, darling dears. They took the piss. These people are liars, darling dears, and confidence tricksters. And if it's family members, they will try and what? Work on your heartstrings. But when you put down the burden, that's 10 of Wands, darling dears. We also have the 7 of Wands. Stand your ground, Scotty. You have to remember, when you get to the 10, you've been through all of the other phases to get to this 10. Right. So now that they no longer have access, what's no longer available to them, darling dears? Apart from you having the badass alchemist ways, being gifted with all of the tools, darling dears. It also speaks about travel, because the Mercury energy is the 3rd, and the 3rd house, communication, and the 6th house, darling dears. Your health. Your health is your wealth. They don't have access to you, darling dears. You who is the what? The kingpin or queenpin. You are Khaleesi or Carl, darling dears. You are the one that was co-creating everything that they had. And what did they do? Right? They turned up with their devilish energy. They didn't know that you was the chosen. That you was the one sent to break generational curses. Not just what's going in your hemisphere. Generational curses is not an easy thing. When you break those curses, darling dears, this is one person holding all of these burdens. You will walk alone for a time. They don't have access to you, darling dears. The baddest of them all. Whenever we see the magician show up, darling dears, not only does he show up, he shows out. It also represents the timing of the magician, darling dears. The timing of the magician is 1 week's time. Within the next 7 days, you will see the change in your life, darling dears. Whatever it is that you had to do to get out of that circumstance and situation, Divine is going to give you what? A clear message. And it's not going to be just a dream or whatever. No, you're going to see clear. Why? Because we just had the death card, darling dears. He comes with the Skrilla.com, darling dears, the folding stuff. You will see. So what gift will be returned to you? The gift of adventure, darling dears. The gift of being able to what? No longer hold on to because when you look at the 2 of Wands, right? One of them is just stuck to the wall. The other one is embedded in concrete, darling dears. The gift of choosing a new beginning for yourself. Some of you will be traveling, darling dears. And we love the travel. Why? It broadens the mind. Divine is also telling me that you need to what? Assess your progress. Look at how your life has changed since you made that decision that you thought you could never make. It tells me that you are looking at your goals, darling dears, and you will be strengthening your relationships. Somebody also, the Two of Wands also represents sexual attraction. Listen, blood. Me personally, I have been celibate for, it'll be 7 years this September. I don't know, mate. I paid my knees, blood. I paid my knees, right? I paid my knees because I had to focus on what I needed to focus in that time. And that time was my progeny. I had to put my energy into them. Pay your knees, guys. Pay your knees. Yeah. I told you. I said the Magician energy 1 week. This information is coming into you swiftly. Knight of Swords, darling dears. Yeah, all because you turned your back on that situation that brought nothing but degradation, darling dears. For some of you, it was abuse. Abuse of your wallet, your handbag, your pocketbook, your Skrilla, darling dears. Abuse of your emotions. This is 8 cups, darling dears. When you get to the 8, right, that means they hate. And when they hate us, what do we do, bestie? That's right. We 9 them. Hate us, we 9 you. And as I said, pay your knees. Don't be in the hemisphere of somebody wanting to shoplift your Panani or your Fatum. You think I'm not joking, because soul ties are real. And you have to remember, people like to love bomb you, pretend to be one way until they can be their true self. I've told you many times, darling dears, before you enter into any form of relationship with anyone anymore, find out their birth date. Find out what sign they represent in Chinese astrology, right? I had 2 daughters, one in 2009 and one in 1997. I am a fire goat. Both of my daughters were born in my enemy sign. They are oxes. Listen. Oi, hey, hold a minute. I had to bump my head, darling dears, and bring me back to the present. Anyhow, like I said, look at those cups, darling dears. They were run over. You was ran through, darling dears. And they took the piss. They played on your emotions until you decided to come what? Holding on to your Ace of Wands of what? New beginnings, darling dears. You put on your red cloak of wisdom. That's root chakra, darling dears. You had to rebalance yourself to come out of this wickedness. You gave yourself back that vitality. You are now more determined. And it's about you what? Following your passion. Ace of Wands. The light of what? A moon, darling dears. This moon looks like an eclipse. And you know when an eclipse comes, darling dears, everything's up for full-on change. Okay. Base of the deck, darling dears. Yeah. All that hard work you put in is going to pay off, darling dears. All those investments, whatever you're investing in, darling dears, it will pay off. And as I said, within 1 week, Magician energy, you have news of this coming towards you swiftly. Let's get the final card. We're going to go with the wellness, was it Island Times Wellness deck? Why didn't you tell me? We've been here for nearly 40 minutes, darling dears. I can be such a chatterbox, but only amongst my besties. Windell, are you here? Make your wave. Glad to see you, sir. Yeah. Love, darling dears. Unconditional love. Self-love. Oneness. Put yourself first, darling dears. And as I said, you have someone coming towards you, but they're still peeping. They're still watching. They're spying. Sputnik hasn't forgotten you. Well, guess what? They need to know that you roll with the 6 G's. God, goals, gifts, greatness, growth, and most important, gratitude. Gratitude that your eyes were open to this situation where they wanted you to do the what? Stevie Wonder in. They wanted you to what? Be blind to their manipulations. But guess what? You give them the Easter Island and the Stevie Wonder. You see them, but you don't see them. Base of the deck. Somebody's going to try and contact you. Could be Swift, darling. There's Magician energy. Magician is what? The third house, communication. Communication will be coming from a back, front, neck, tabber. They're paying attention. They're watching you. They haven't forgotten you. They haven't. They are currently on the rocks of life, darling dears. Why? Because they took the piss with you and time ran out on them. Yeah, it ran out on them, blood. Base of the deck, darling dears. They're addicted to you, darling dears. And it's also a reminder, if you have addictions. With Gemini, changing signs, darling. No, Gemini is not changing signs. Uranus is changing signs, darling dears. Use the energy to overcome any form of addictions you have in your life. Cut that shit out, because you're the dragonfly. This is a new beginning. Let's get one final card. We're going to go with the Making Magic Oracle deck. I haven't used this in a while. And then we're out of here. To do what? That's right, bestie. To get great. Final card for the big cat. Thank you. Know this. You are being protected at this moment in time. This is a sigil. You can draw it, keep it on your person for 7 days, and then burn it, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. Strong protective magic for the family and the home, darling dears. And if your family has gone down to one person, it's protecting you. On that note, I drops me mic. Toddle over to my Teesprings, pick up some of the channel merch, or go over to my Amazon and pick up one of my 2 books that are out now. Yes, I've ordered them, darling dears. You gotta wait. They should be here on Saturday so that I can show you my proof roof. Pinkies up. On that note, and as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again.